Islanders, the internet has been active. Those on social media have been buzzing like they're drinking grandpa's cough syrup. They're sipping on grandma's eggnog as the rumor gets out there and there are reports that Carnival Corporation is set to build new cruise ships, including cruise ships that could be headed to Carnival Cruise Line. These ships are bigger than the XL class cruise ships. We're going to share the reports and what we know on the show today. We're also sharing news from one cruise line regarding gratuities. Yes, they have gone up yet again. We'll talk about that. We also can't wait to share this story with you. The two largest cruise ships in the world, the Wonder of the Seas, the Icon of the Seas, both from Royal Caribbean International, meet each other for the first time. But that's not the real story, because one picture that someone took pointed out something could be wrong with Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. We will share that picture with you. We will clarify everything. We all need some time in the islands. Let's go there now on Island Time. A big happy Tuesday to all you Islanders. We hope that you're having a great day. We are on Island Time. I am Derek. Let's drop our anchors and take some time to relax in the islands together. We hope that you are safe. We know that much of the country is below average when it comes to temperatures right now. We know that several of you have snow on the ground, including here in Arkansas. We hope that everyone is warm, you're safe, you are where you need to be. I know this. We need some time in the islands. Stick with us the entire show today. We all need it, and we have news to share with you. If you enjoy staying up to date with the latest in cruising and cruise news, be sure you're subscribed. 60% of you are not subscribed. That's what the data says. Be sure you're subscribed. Ring the bell to receive notifications when we upload content. A quick housekeeping item. We are excited about this inaugural sailing from Galveston for the MSC Seascape, November 9th of 2025. Over 100 cabins are already in line to be booked. Amanda and I are waiting for MSC to finish the rest of their work, to make their group live, and then we're booking over 100 cabins. It's going to be quite the party. Rates are cheap, super, super cheap. If you're interested in joining us, email us at travel@bookislandtime.com. We'll get you on the list. We'll get you on the ship. Again, our rates are cheaper than what's online. We can't wait. The largest group, MSC, is excited about this. They've been blown away. So has the Port of Galveston. Let's talk about some cruise news. This is exciting news. It's unexpected news, but let's go ahead and talk about this right here. We're excited because Carnival Corporation, who's the parent company of Carnival Cruise Line, Costa Cruises, Princess, and many others, it's in the reporting news today that they could be in talks and almost at signature with building a new class of ship. A lot of us remember that Carnival Corporation, they took a different route than Royal Caribbean, who continued to build ships during and after the pandemic. The Icon of the Seas, the Utopia of the Seas, the Star of the Seas will come out next year, and then the third Icon class ship is going to come out as well. Norwegian Cruise Line also said, you know what, we're going to continue building ships. The Norwegian Viva just came out. MSC continued to build ships. Carnival Cruise Line, Carnival Corporation, said we're going to pay off some debt before we do anything else. And that's been what they've continued to do. But now reports show, and this is not just hearsay, this is not just gossip. There are reports, there's data behind this, that Carnival Corporation is set to build new cruise ships. We're excited about it. We'll talk about, is this really going to happen on the show today? Here's what we know. We know that Carnival leadership said maybe 2027 we'll have a new ship, maybe 2028. And really this story and this reporting aligns with that time frame. This is 2024. And if you build a ship like they're saying they're going to build, it's going to take some time to do so. So that timing could indeed match. What exactly are we talking about? You see, here's what we're talking about. Fincantieri, a shipyard there in Italy, who builds ships for multiple different cruise lines. Their CEO made a statement not long ago, it was late last year, that there are ships in the oven. Here in the United States, we use that phrase that there's a baby in the oven. Have you ever used that phrase before? There's a baby in the oven. When a mom is expecting a baby and she's along that process, there's a baby in the oven, which means there's a baby there. There's a baby growing and developing who's going to be born eventually and be able to share life with all of us. The CEO in that shipyard said, there are ships in the oven. There are ships baking. There are ships in the plans and the works and the process. And we really didn't think much about that, right? We knew there's ships in the oven, ha ha ha. But now new reporting from Shipping Italy is hinting that Carnival Corporation is way further along in these talks of shipbuilding and maybe close to signature, signing what would be the largest deal with Fincantieri that they have ever had. It's an awesome story here. This new class of ship would be larger than Carnival Cruise Line's XL class ship at 208,000 gross tons compared to the XL class of 180,000 gross tons, 12% bigger. 12% bigger ship that could easily hold 7,000 passengers. Of course, those XL class ships, 6,500 is what they can carry, over 7,000 passengers. Each ship would be $1.6 billion. That's where the record comes in. How many of them? 4. Shipping Italy is reporting that 4 of these ships could be built, which is a record. It really is. Now, they probably won't be delivered until that 2027, 2028, 2029 timeframe. So it matches up with what Carnival Corporation has been saying. But are we here? Are we at the moment when we find out what the next ships are going to be? Here's the big question. Just because Carnival Corporation is building new ships does not mean that those ships are going to Carnival Cruise Line, who a lot of us cruise. But according to Shipping Italy and reports, that they say the first ships in that order, and there are 4 in the order, the first ships would go to Carnival Cruise Line. Keep in mind, too, that there could be more than 4 ships in this class. For instance, there's more than just 3 XL class ships. There are 3 in Carnival Cruise Line, but if you look at Costa and other cruise lines, there are more than that. But it's being reported that the first ships in this order would go to Carnival Cruise Line, which makes things even more exciting, right? Because that means that we're impacted, those of us who enjoy cruising with Carnival Cruise Line. Now, one thing you have to ask yourself is, does this make sense? When you hear a cruise news story, when you hear reporting, when you hear things about especially investment in new ships, $1.6 billion a ship doesn't make sense. It really does make sense for several reasons. This story, this reporting, it makes sense for several reasons. Number one, the demand is calling for it. The demand in cruising, is so high right now. The pricing is high right now. I saw one of Carnival's Cruise Line's senior salespeople on a video call last week. I was attending a conference per se. It was a small conference. And he shared this. When the calendar flipped over to January 1st, 2024, that almost 75% of all Carnival Cruise Line inventory was booked. It was a record. When he said that statement, people stood up and they clapped. 3 out of 4 cabins for Carnival Cruise Line, when they entered the new year, is already booked. The demand is high. Other cruise lines also have high demand. They're building those ships to fulfill that demand. 2024 is going to be a solid year. 2025. Matter of fact, his point was, turn your focus to 2025. Number 2, the success of XL class ships for Carnival Cruise Line and Carnival Corporation has been off the charts. People love these ships. Some, yes, they prefer the smaller ships. That's okay. But for the majority of people who cruise on these ships, they book a second cruise on them, a third cruise on them, and new cruisers especially love them. The demand is there. And that, of course, helps validate that this story could be true. The third thing, other cruise lines continue to build. You have to keep up with the Joneses, do you not? Royal Caribbean International continues to build. MSC continues to build. Norwegian continues to build. This makes sense. Here's the question. Would you like to see these new ships and larger, 12% larger ships be built? Let us know if you would like to see these be built in the comment section below. Also, share this. What predictions do you have about these ships? What will be different about these ships? New features, interactive features. Where will these ships sell from? Let us know in the comment section below. We know that you're as excited as we are. We'll continue to keep you updated on this story. We're going to share news also right now. One cruise line is increasing their gratuities. This is nothing new. It seems like once a month or once every other month, we are here on the show sharing this story. This story is a little bit more notable because it's the first time in 2024 that a cruise line, a major cruise line, has increased their rates. This is the second time in a year that Holland America Line has increased gratuities. Previous to this, the gratuities were $16 for all passengers and $17.50 for suite guests. that is pretty much the norm when it comes to gratuities. They're really spot on there, maybe a little bit on the low side, but not much. Now, of course, that rate's going up to $17 per person per day in all cabins and $19 for suite guests. So you have an increase there, and you say, you know what, it's $1. It's $1.50. Who cares? So what? Remember that I mentioned this is the second time in a year that Holland America Line has increased gratuities, and other cruise lines have done the same. That's a 6% increase, and just this increase alone for all cabins, an 8% increase for suites. They're keeping their 18% service charge when you buy your drink package, when you get a massage, when you go to a specialty restaurant, 18%. That is staying the same. But the big question that's out there, number one, is Holland America Line is owned by Carnival Corporation, and could we see Carnival Corporation also dictate other cruise lines like Carnival Cruise Line to also increase their gratuities? They were just increased not long ago as well. But what we have seen in the last several years is that once one cruise line increases their gratuities, it gives the green light for other cruise lines to increase their gratuities. So we'll watch and see what happens there. What I have done for you for each cruise line, because so many people ask about this, I've put the major cruise lines and their current gratuities in the description of this video, so you can check out and you can compare who has the higher gratuities versus the lower gratuities. And sometimes you can predict those on the low side, they may be the next to announce that their gratuities are going to increase. While you're down there, go ahead and like the video today. Like the show. That does so much. That puts this video in the algorithm for other people who enjoy cruising to see this video in their feed. We appreciate that so much. Let's get to the last story of the day. This one's an interesting story. There's been some controversy on this, and really there's not any controversy, but I'm going to share it with you. It's a neat event as the two world's largest cruise ships met yesterday. Perfect day at Coco Cay. You had Royal Caribbean International's Wonder of the Seas, the current largest cruise ship in the world, meet as they hand the baton across the pier, right? Meet the icon of the seas. What a sight to see. And what's crazy is the Wonder of the Seas being the largest cruise ship in the world. And she looks much smaller than the icon of the seas. I'm showing you this picture here. There's controversy around this picture. Look at it and see what you think. Do you think that the icon of the seas is listing a little bit port side, left side into the pier? There's a lot of people who have went on social media and said, what's going on here? There's something wrong with the icon she's listing. Is she okay? Is she going to be ready for the inaugural sailing later this month? That is all nonsense, okay? If you know, especially at Perfect Day, but other ports of call as well, and I've seen this with my own eyes, cruise ships, even though they are tied up, the ropes are tied and they are tight, they can list wind direction, wave direction, can make ships, even when they're at port, list a little bit. Nothing is wrong with the icon of the seas. Everything is fine. I think people sometimes just want something to talk about. And yes, maybe people don't know about the winds and the waves and the conditions that can affect cruise ships while even at port. But I wanted to share everything is okay, nothing is wrong, but what a moment for these two ships and crew members and things like that to meet. We're excited about the icon of the seas. So many of you are cruising her. We'll keep you updated on all things Icon. Islanders, that is the Cruise News Show for today. We hope that you enjoyed it. I took some time today to share the stories, to share some of my thoughts, and I ask you to do the same in the comment section below. Pick out those stories, especially our leading story today, Carnival Corporation may be building new cruise ships. I'm sure excited about that. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. We can't wait to see those. We'll see you on our Facebook page as well, and tomorrow right here on Island Time.